To some, this may be surprising.
Stephen A. said a lot about Sanders, but he also tweeted out, quote, "This is Kaepernick all over again." What's your reaction?
My answer is no. That's my reaction. And I can't believe this is the number one skeptic of the NFL. I'm somebody who many times Atlantic and in shows like this have talked about how this league has a lot of racist underpinnings. They, as you mentioned, they have a terrible track record. So I'm the last person to throw down the cape over the puddle for the NFL. But in this case, it wasn't about race. I think it had everything to do with the fact that they did not value Shedeur Sanders as a talent, as that kind of surefire, he's a lock as a first round or top 5 kind of guy.
Jemele Hill, formerly of ESPN, weighed in on the Shedeur Sanders talk.
We've seen guys drop because of injuries. We've seen guys drop because of off-field issues, but we've never seen a quarterback projected to be a top 20 pick, universally recognized as one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft, projected to be a first rounder, in all likelihood a safe bet of a late first rounder, and drop literally to the 5th round. We haven't seen anything like that. And when you're talking about the owners, I'm going to keep in mind, and I tweeted about this, seems very Kaepernick-like, as in Colin Kaepernick.
As did Stephen A. Smith of ESPN. When he witnessed a plethora of quarterbacks being taken before Shedeur Sanders.
So how is Shedeur Sanders going behind them? I'll tell you how. It's collusion. You're willing to collectively send that kind of message, and don't act like it wasn't a collective effort. For all we know, teams collectively, meaning owners, had come to the conclusion nobody's going to touch them in the first 4 rounds. All right, now that the round 5 is here, our message has been sent, so y'all could go about the business of sort of lifting the embargo, for lack of a better phraseology. I don't know what the hell happened. All I know is this: it's freaking unfair. It ain't right.
The word I simply cannot agree with here is collusion. It's because the reports of the interviews he had with NFL teams is a huge storyline being overlooked if we just point to collusion. He refused to take blame in one instance. Another, he claimed the coaching staff might not be a match for him. In another pre-draft interview with one NFL team, one coach intentionally put in mistakes Sanders conducted to see if he would catch them. He did not. When called out on it, the two bickered. This was another really big moment where the quarterback did not wow a team, but rather solidified them not selecting him. And yet there was another moment. Breer printed Shedeur and allegedly his father Dion, aka Coach Prime, tried pulling an Eli Manning, i.e. intentionally trying to sway teams to not draft him so he could go to his preferred landing spot. Shedeur was a very, very good college quarterback. He was not the greatest. So doing this is risky, and it didn't pay off.
And again, in that draft process, that's an evaluation of who you are, your character, your football character, all those things. So if it's true, the reports that he was purposely tanking some interviews because he didn't want to go to those teams, showing up and doing other things with other teams, those kind of messages get out across the league, and they're going to reflect poorly on him. And so you can't, if they already think you're kind of a borderline talent, and then you add the extra stuff to it, it is going to greatly influence your draft stock. And no, we can't compare it to Colin Kaepernick. This is a man who lost his career when he already had been to a Super Bowl and done a lot as a quarterback. And then he had his career taken from him because of he made the mistake of actually standing up for black people.
Another highly trusted media member, former NFL quarterback Boomer Esiason, who has also worked for various media outlets. He said this on his show.
Shedeur Sanders just torpedoed himself. His attitude off the field at the combine, his dad didn't help him either. You know, he was on podcast talking about, this is my son. If I can get him to where I want to get him to, I'm going to do that. But, you know, when you listen to this kid talk right prior or at the combine about if you want a new culture in your locker room, I'm the guy to do that. I can turn it around. I mean, he's very high on himself. And I think he was very off-putting to many, many coaches and general managers in the league. And I'm telling you right now, and I know this after talking to 3 different personnel people in the NFL this weekend, they didn't even have him on their board. They took him off. And they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. I don't want this entitled person on our team. And I don't blame him.
I want to be clear about this, okay? I texted a source who was in the know because I could not understand this fall, a historic fall at that. I texted them and all I said was, what is going on here? What is happening? I've heard the chatter from critics, but I need some evidence because I want to know how to approach this on the air. And this person told me that they knew individuals in the room that Shedeur was interviewing. And the reporting from Breer, the reporting from The Athletic is true. It's true. He did not come prepared. He deflected. He did not own his mistakes. When he was pressed, because coaches will do this to recruits, they'll do this to players on the team, they will do this to potential players on the team in the interview process. One coach from a team I will not reveal pressed him and he did not react well. He keeps deflecting blame over and over when the proof is in the pudding on the film that they put up. And when they're asking, what is this about? And he says it's somebody else's fault. Bad. They're going over game situations. He has no idea how to react. Bad. You're saying that this is a cornerstone of your franchise. And then he's saying how he wants things to be like colossal mistakes being made here. Colossal. That's why I didn't want to comment originally, because I didn't know. I did not know. And then you combine that with Dion says, draft Shiloh, draft Shedeur, and then come hire me to be your head coach. How many people in front offices are going to buy that stuff? Because what happens is they're potentially going to be out of a job and be replaced. You want to draft your replacement, your known replacement potentially? No. Of course not. Stephen A. brought it up about how he didn't participate in the Senior Bowl and he didn't participate in the Combine and he didn't participate in other stuff. That is up to the player. I'm sort of indifferent on that stuff. I think if you want to solidify your draft stock a little bit more than you do it, I think that's true. But what I think could have happened is we wouldn't be talking about this stuff if he aced those interviews, and he failed them. He failed them. We wouldn't be talking about the Senior Bowl. We wouldn't be talking about the Combine. We wouldn't be talking about Coach Prime's approach on draft my kids and I'll coach your team. We would be talking about, he slipped to late first round, early second round, which is my read on the situation. He could have if he performed better in those meetings, and he didn't. So look, I call it out. I'm straightforward. I'm honest. I am telling you, this is someone that I trust with my life. This is not racism. This is not collusion. And for Stephen A., stop talking about Colin Kaepernick because he helped bury him. What this is about is Shedeur Sanders, who I like and I wish the utmost success in the National Football League. At the end of the day, it was him in those interviews. Period. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.